Jenny, I know obviously Sunday was a tough one for you guys at South Carolina. With this kind of being a bye week, what's just since that game having a few days, just what's been kind of the focus? What's been important for you guys this week coming off of a tough loss like that?
Yeah. And tough is a nice word. Yeah, it was awful. I mean, it was just totally awful. And at the same time, it can be just a major pivotal point in the program. And, I said this right after the game. We have a chance to go one of two ways, right? And we can either just keep doing the same stuff we're doing and the same thing's going to happen, or we really can shift our thinking and be able to go. So what I'm proud of is, in watching the film, and because you have time, it's nice. You can really break it down with your team. I thought they were really engaged in the opportunities and the areas that we've just got to get better. That's what we focused on. So, in the next probably, tomorrow and Saturday, we'll get to focus on Georgia. But the last few days, we focused on ourselves and what we need to do. And I think our practices have been engaging, they've been upbeat. And I really think this could be a turning point for us, to be honest. So I get it. Nobody feels like they wanted, nobody wants to go through that. No, a lot of people have never gone through something like that. And we did. And we've got to be able to own that and just focus on getting better. The areas that we've really focused on, um, obviously taking care of the ball and where that's coming from. We're just giving people too many points. Uh, Focusing on what each game plan's adjustments are. We weren't clear, we weren't focused enough to make those adjustments. And then we've got to be more intuitive and more connected on really both ends. And that's what our system is predicated on. So that's something that we really haven't necessarily been great all season. And that was a perfect storm of them playing really well. They're really good. They had a great crowd. It's SEC. It was a huge moment. And there we were. So I think that's really been the focus. Um, and we'll see how we continue to respond.
Well, you mentioned being able to have the last couple of days because there's no midweek of really going through the film with the team. Just, I mean, how rare, or I don't know if rare is the right word, but how important is that coming off a loss like that, where you've had the last couple of days to really watch the film with the team? And is that did the timing? I know you never want to have a game like that, but did the timing kind of work out that way too?
I don't know yet, right? Because sometimes it's really nice just to move on past something like that and just get to the next game. And, so that could be great timing too. So, but timing's always exactly how it's supposed to be, in my opinion. So I think, yeah, I think we needed this. I think we needed to really look in the mirror and learn. And, some of the things that we do to learn, it's not just beat them up with film. It's really teaching moment. It was probably the longest film session I think I've ever had with a team. And maybe not, maybe I'm being extreme, but they were so engaged. And we have to learn the game more. We have to watch other teams more. We have to watch basketball more. We have to understand how to put each other in better positions. We need to play, get more creative in the gym. It's not just about doing a drill, it's understanding why you're doing it. And so having them build up the breakdowns and why we do what we're doing. And what I have seen, let's say we're doing a 3-on-3 breakdown of our offense or a 3-on-3 breakdown of defense. They're seeing why and what more now because they were able to have those moments. Um, so I think that's a lot better in terms of where we need. So you don't get that time if you do have a game. So yes, it's really good from that standpoint. But either way, you still have to have effort all the time. We got to continue to get in better shape, and we just have to play more instinctually.
Thank you, Jenny.
Coach,
Coach,
oh, go ahead.
Coach, have you seen like through this week after the South Carolina loss, have you seen the team just want it more, like want to do better more and get better? Or how have you seen the team work and get motivated after this loss?
Yeah, good question. I think it's twofold. I think yes, there's, players want to get in the gym and get better and, do extra conditioning and do whatever they need to do. I think they understand why they're doing those things. I don't think anybody has come into practice and they're like, "Oh no, these are going to be hard." They're more like, "Okay, let's go." So I do think that motivation has been really good on an individual level. On a team level, I think they're really understanding some of the things that we need to do as a team where we can be more connected. We have a lot of with Reagan, right? Like she hasn't practiced a lot. And then all of a sudden she shows some incredible toughness in that game against South Carolina. And so understanding that you've seen with that, we do have to look different when she is on the floor and when she's not on the floor. When we're playing more of a smaller lineup, when we're playing more of a bigger lineup, we've had so many different lineups that I feel like probably yesterday in practice was maybe our best day in understanding how to play to each other's strengths when you're on the floor. And part of that were some things that we did in drills, but um, I do think they're understanding that they have to bring it more individually, but also if we don't get more connected as a team and more intuitive as a team, we will not go where we can go. And I think that was a perfect example of that. And so sometimes you just apparently have to get, I mean, we probably could have done it with 20 or 30, but it's 40. So that's, sometimes you just need those moments to really shake your space enough to be able to get better. And I think this team is one that will get better.
Coach, did you feel like you all got the shots that you wanted in that game and some of them didn't just fall, or is that the way to look at it, or
You know, yes and no, because the turnovers, we're just giving them points. Like we cannot just continue to give points off of some of those turnovers. So that's part of it. I do think we got a lot of shots at the basket in that first quarter and we didn't recover well. So it wasn't even necessarily, I think a lot of the shots were good. I mean, some of our threes, like those are threes that we knocked down, but so there were a lot of looks that I feel like we got. Um, I mean, we had 20 fast break points. So we had opportunities. What I didn't like in that was our response when something didn't go well because we just carried it to the next possession and we're too mature of a team and to do that. But we did that. And so then all of a sudden your shots get a little bit harder than maybe they look. But we had layups at the rim in that first quarter that we just didn't knock down. And I don't know if we're going to get better shots. I mean, we had some really good looks. And again, you have to credit South Carolina. They're good defense. I mean, they're reigning national champions for a reason. And I think so many times, people have talked about their different teams over the years. I think their team is really good because they can shoot the ball and they stretch you on the offensive end and they're long. And so I don't think we went to Reagan as much in the first half that I would have liked to. You could see in the second half we did that more, but that's also because we weren't sure about her shoulder. She wasn't sure about that. So do I like some of the things that we did? Yeah, we had some really good opportunities, but also I think we could have created some better ones.
Jenny, I hate to keep asking about South Carolina. I apologize. I do want to ask you as a coach, and I know 40 is such a big number. Do you recall any losses in your career where you have lost by that many points? And how did your teams respond in the past?
Enough. I mean, we've had enough moments that were bad, like that. But here's the one thing that I think that is, we gave up what 61 points to Aoka Lee. I don't remember what the final score was, but we gave up, all those points to her, that Kansas State game a few years ago. And I think we responded after that. I think, we lost in the NCAA tournament my first year here. So maybe those are both my first year, by 40 whatever points to Notre Dame at home in the NCAA tournament. And we didn't get a chance to respond because it ended our season. So we got a chance to respond and work harder in the off season than we had. But that's why we're in the SEC is to play against these teams that have competed year in, year out for national championships and to see how close and far you are. And it's a process, and I hate the process. Our fans hate the process. Y'all hate the process, but it's a process and it's different. And we have to understand that it's different, and we got to be able to fall down. We got to get better. We got to look in the mirror. We got to grow. Because if we get to see them again in March, how amazing would that be? Right. So I would rather this happen in January, that we have a chance to recover and grow and see what we're made of, than it happen in March and it ends your season. So that's also, I mean, that's part of us going to the SEC. It is different. It is different. And we're the new people. So it's different. We have to learn. None of our team has ever played in front of 18,000. The moment was big and it was too big for us, apparently. And so we have to learn. You have to learn and you have to go through it. And I'm not above falling on my face. I'm not above taking ownership. I didn't have them ready. I don't think one person on our team would be like, oh, I was good. Nobody's going to say, oh, it's coach's fault or it's my fault. It's our fault. It's our fault. Every one of us have a piece in that pie. So that's why we're going to recover from this, Eric. Like, that's why we're going to be okay. And we're going to get better, and we're okay to get better, because part of getting better and part of building a program is not everything just goes well. Sometimes you got to face some stuff. And apparently we needed to face this. So I hate it. None of us like it. And trust me, there is nothing worse than standing on a sideline during that game. But I will tell you, we're going to get better.
I want to switch gears. I had a chance to ask Peyton a kind of a unique question. I asked her what your demeanor is in team huddles during media timeouts, during timeouts and stuff like that. Not specifically this past game, but just overall. And she said your demeanor's always been the same, even killed. Where did you learn that? And how important is it for you to be that way, even when you're winning big, losing big, or whatever?
I don't know. I think there's, the older you get, the more wisdom you have, right? I think when I was younger, I think, I'm really emotional person. And so it takes me a lot to be really steady, because I'm really competitive and your emotions come, and I think that your team is going to reflect you. So when you lose by 40, that's a reflection of you. When you win close games, that's a reflection of you, right? Now you have to put the players in a position for them to be themselves. And so there's times where you want to be able to influence that. And there's times that you want to just remain steady. And so sometimes you get it right, sometimes you don't. But I don't want to be on a roller coaster, because the game of basketball is a roller coaster. It ebbs and flows and it goes and it's high emotion and you're angry and you get hit, you get fouled, and then you got to get up, and then there's joy and flow and there's all this stuff. And so I try to just, like sometimes you're going to get really excited and sometimes you're going to, get mad and you're going to yell, but I just try to stay steady, for them and for me, because I know they're going to go as you go. And I don't need them being like this. And again, it's, part of that's, we weren't ready for that big of a moment. And then the other parts, we will be the next time.
Last question. I'm old enough to where I coached Katie when she was coaching at Missouri State. So I know you got Georgia coming to town this weekend. Is she still playing the 2-3 zone?
She still has a lot of those moments of that dang zone that she's got. So I know I was talking to Shannon, because she was an assistant coach at Michigan State when I played. And so they had that matchup zone there too. And, she's had it for a long time. And I've known Katie for a really long time. She's from Iowa. And so, she's got a young team, but they got some talent and they're good. And they've lost some really close games, but they'll frustrate you. And she definitely has that zone still.
Jennie, thanks so much. Good luck this weekend.
Thank
Okay.
you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach, outside of I guess the scoreboard, what would a good response, look like to you again when you play Georgia on Sunday from your team? What do you think a good response would look like?
Yeah, that's a great, I want high assists. I want us moving. I want our pace really good. We've got to take care of the ball. We're going to turn it over, but we have to eliminate the hesitation. We're not playing with the instincts we're capable of playing. And so anytime that we hesitate and overthink, it is turned into a turnover. We have to get rid of that. We have to get rid of Just that stop and Georgia's too athletic. They're too good. They're gonna adjust. They run different defenses. They're a man in a zone. And so if you sit there and you think and you turn that game into we're overthinking it, we're not good. I want to see Reagan be really assertive in the paint. I think, you got to see that in the second half of South Carolina. I loved that. That's translated into practice. Now she's been a little bit limited because of her shoulder. But when she has been in, I love that her confidence and it's really starting to come. It's taken her a little bit to really be confident. And I've seen that in practice, and I really love that. Peyton, her or her player movement, not even her ball movement, like she had in Missouri, where she just moved and read the game. She read people, she set people up. I want to see that. Sahara Williams, I still love her effort. Like you can just see she's playing so hard. And she didn't make a basket in the South Carolina game, but dang, I mean, she might have broken the backboard even. She wanted it so bad. And I want to still see that. I want to still see that hunger and that desire of her just really going for it. And I honestly, Sky got in foul trouble in that first half at South Carolina. But I saw her run the floor again. I saw her, not even think twice about shooting that trail three or shooting that high post jumper. And, you got to see that. That's what I want to be able to see. So I think if those four can really continue to get better and get on that same page, I think, I love the way that Lexi Keys is just playing really hard right now, and she's letting it fly more than she has. And we need her to do that. So that to me, once you start to see those players continue to pour into that group and play intuitively, we're going to be better. They can't overthink. They got to play and just play with their instincts.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, Sunday against Georgia is alumni night. How special do you feel this program is for the alumni to not only come back, but want to come back and celebrate?
Mm-hmm. Well, and I've been at places that, I've had really long-time coaches, and, I played for Lisa Bluter, who just retired. And, so many times your experience is tied to the coach. And the women that have played in this program, because Sherry was here for so long, so we want to be able to celebrate that too. And we want to make sure all those women that played before Sherry got here and that played here still feel so important to the program, because the program is above all of us. And I think that the people that play here really feel that way. And you listen to what they feel about Oklahoma and Oklahoma women's basketball. We want to be able to carry that in and carry that on. And you don't realize when you're in it how short those 4 years are, or maybe 5 years. You don't realize how fast that actually goes in the grand scheme of life. But when you graduate and you put your heart and soul in a program and you watch people carry on that tradition, that's when you realize that. And I want them to feel as much a part of it today as they did when they wore that jersey themselves. And so it's so important that they come back. It's so important that they get connected with our team, because we need that. Our program needs that. And the future of women's basketball needs that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys?
Jennie, Lisa Bluter had some really good teams at Drake, huh?
She did. And you know what? So we went through that same kind of thing there. I think there were so many players there that were tied because so many coaches had been there for 10 plus years. And so these players were tied to the coaches. And that was that's what you try to do, is you try to get them really, really connected to the program. So that was, I went back actually for Drake's 50th year in November. And it was amazing to be able to see that. It was just a really cool connection to be able to have. So I want the women here to feel that every day too. And I think they do, but it does take a little time too when there's, a coaching change.
Well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you guys. Thanks for being here, even though we got our doors blown off.
Josh, thanks.
I promise you will get better. Appreciate you. Thank
Thanks,
you.
y'all.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.